Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of Gans processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Any other question?
Okay, I always like to address the hands up first here. So, Azar, would you like to go ahead next, please?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Keshe, when you talk about the tilt of the Earth, when you look at the South Pole and North Pole, okay, so you would say the energy, the field goes in the south and comes out in the north. Now we know if we have both it goes in and comes out. But if for South Pole, we say we have a number 100 going in and 50 coming out. So 100 plus minus 1 becomes plus 50. So it means the in totality is going in. And it's always been going in because the number that goes in is always more than what comes out. In the
Not
north
necessarily, not necessarily. No. You have to understand the work of magnetic fields. In the House Secretary you have, they talk about the current, how much current you use, yeah, how much power you use. But there is a reversal to it called eddy current. Call it gravitational. And in the American system and some European systems, they measure your eddy current than actually your power. And if your eddy current is bigger, which means you're supplying into the grid, they come and disconnect you. You're producing energy somewhere. And this is the same with the plasmatic fields. You look at what goes up from the north and the south, you don't look at it, it's a three-dimensional, and you got the equators. The fields explode outwards. That's why the Earth is not flat. What you call it is not spherical, it's more oval. It's not as simple as that.
So is the tilt is always constant, or the tilt constantly changes?
It will change. It's moving more to the vertical, the horizontal position. Very, very, it takes millions of years to do.
Okay, and then you know the
I tell you, let me explain to you.
Okay.
The reason we know this because we have systems and we tested it. And we lost one of our reactors because of it, creating directional field forces. And we understood that very early in early 2000s because the system shows. So we understand scientifically why.
Because I was thinking when you were discussing this, because I said to myself, because of the tilt is constantly changing, so it means from the time the Earth came to exist and we had the dinosaurs, we have different animals. Now everything disappears, a new one comes. Maybe it's the tilt is changing that create different field, create different animals.
Three different factors. One is the tilt. One is the gravitational pull of the, what do you call it, the sun, which is pulling us to the center. And at the same time, due to interaction of the fields of the solar system with the inertia of the Earth, the composition of the structure of the surface of the Earth changes. They say, for example, they found material 20 meter, 10 meter, 50 meter below the surface. Where did this material for extra 20 meter has come from? We don't have tankers and trucks delivering it. It's the conversion of the energy from the upper layers of the plasma to matter state on the surface of the Earth. So as the material changes, plus the volcanic eruptions, plus everything else, it creates a different composition of life. That's why we go through deserts. We have a desert line, as I explained in teachings before. The line of the deserts and the angle of the inclination of the Earth are more or less on the same line, which shows the actual field transfer with a high energy where it goes in and goes out. And why it gets bigger in certain point, central line, where the two fields interact. The one's coming from the north, the one coming from the south. It's a cooking pot of fields. And then they have to come out at a certain point.
Mr. Keshe, maybe this question is a little primitive, maybe I don't understand it. When you talk about the electron, proton, and neutron, you talk about the star formation, but to me, a star formation has always 4 bases, 3 on the bottom, 1 on top is a pyramid.
No,
but then
no.
electron, proton,
This
neutron
is
is a
your
triangle.
misunderstanding. It's
Okay,
your misunderstanding.
okay.
You create the 3, the 4th is the outcome of their interaction.
Okay, I got it. The center.
In the center. We put the 4th in to dictate the position of it.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
If you look at some of the churches, especially Russian Orthodox churches, East European churches, in the top of the buildings, when you see these circles, if you look, the structure is a star formation. And the biggest dome is in the middle, which is the soul. When you go to churches in Eastern Europe, in Russia, and some places in Spain, just look how these spikes come out and how they've been organized. When you look at it from the top, in most cases you see a star formation, and the big dome in the middle is where it receives the full energy. Knowledge has been hidden in different ways by the man of knowledge and used by the man of knowledge. And Tesla understood this, that's how he built his tower.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 585th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, April 10th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host today, once again, in this weekly series of wonderful workshops. And once again, we have the honor of having Mr. Mehran Keshe as our presenter and teacher today. And I believe he is ready to go with today's information. Please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to the series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute. You're back, as Rick says, and busy with it. And we'll try to unravel the secrets of creation somehow to our own understanding and what suits and befits us. It is part of our work to not only understand the work of the universe, but to understand how our life is part of the working of the universe, and how we are created through the same process, and we lead
Recording in progress.
to the creation of other lives in our process of life. We are used to, we have been brought up to only think about the cycle of life during the cycle of our breathing or life on this planet. And we have never had the chance to understand that the cycle of life does not change with man when he leaves the physical body. And this has been the biggest mystery for man. Which means the truth about our life has been hidden from us. The truth about the purpose of our life, why we were born, why we take shape in the body of the man or a tree or an animal, is been hidden from us by those who understood, and we are misguided further from the truth by those who never understood and came up with a bunch of assumptions and lies and everything else to get themselves recognition or whatever. Now that we live, our intellect, our lives has changed and has taken shape in a different direction with intelligence that we have gathered, has become more knowledgeable, that in fact, the way that most probably this universe was created, and the way that by interaction of the fields, most probably the way the galaxies, which is billions of trillions of them in the package of this, what we call cosmos, this universe of ours, which then this created hundreds of millions of stars, which then they created hundreds of millions of planetary system, which within their lives, they created opportunity for many lives to be created, as Earth is not the only one. And even then, when Earth was created, millions of lives were created by a structure of itself. Life cannot stop here. We are not the end. We are part of the chain. We are part of the structure. So our lives, our soul, our physicality, once it takes shape and leaves behind the dust of the physicality, become a start of another cycle, becomes another life in the chain of events of the creation. In a way, the universe holds billions of galaxies. The way each galaxy holds billions of stars, and the way these stars hold billions of planets, and these planets hold billions of lives like us, and our body holds billions of cells to create us, that is got the central control. Now that energy we call the soul of the man is the beginning, or is the next cycle to another cycle in the world of creation. There cannot be any different. And once man understands this and finds out how the previous structures, like the universe, solar systems, galaxies, planetary system work, then he can create a life different in a physical dimension. And with it, allow the soul of the man, the central energy, to take different shape. Up to now, everything has been accidental or coincidental or by interaction of the fields. The man intelligence, not just man, the creatures which are created through this process on the planetary, or even between the spaces between the universes, spaces between the galaxies and the spaces between the stars in the galaxies, is not void of life. Each one has his own life, his own dimensions of lives. So now, for the first time, it's got to the point that now this process of randomness, what we see, brings its control in. We can control what to eat, where to go, how to feed this physicality of hundreds of billions of cells. That is central command, takes information, energy, that in the next cycle, it becomes the beginning of another life. The cycle does not finish by physical dimension of the man. Physical dimension of the man is like that. In a way, if you look at it, first few plasmas came together and they structured themselves, and then they grew and they collectively structured themselves to become the beginning of a galaxy. And then they shaped and made that galaxy with the organs inside it. And then each organ having cells, and then each cell is important in the structure of the whole life, because if one fails, we say it's got genetic defects and everything else. So man, the soul of the man, the physicality of the man, is part of the same process. We have a Milky Way in the whatever we call in this structure, and our sun is part of it. And then this Milky Way is another part of the structure of the universe. So in fact, man could be like that cell on the structure of the kidney, or a connection part of the amino acid of a cell in a kidney, which makes part of a life of the human body. And if that cell accidentally gets damaged, and then it comes to do stupid things, becomes the source, the seed of the cancer for the whole structure. And then you die of a cancer because one cell got it wrong. It became the seed of the demise of the totality. Man's behavior is that seed, the killing seed, the destruction seed, which become the cancer of the universe. In human body, we use chemotherapy to get rid of it, to change it. In the science of the creation, God sends what we call the teachers to unravel, to teach the structure from the beginning, that the mistakes don't happen, that it doesn't become the cancer of the universe. Destruction of life, diminishing, consuming life the way man has done. Life has been on this planet, which even some plants have learned how to consume the others by capturing them in flight or whatever, have been become, they have learned the misconduct. And this is the purpose to change what's gone wrong with this planet that has brought such a behavior, such a conduct, such a misconduct. And we are here to teach, to destroy that seed of cancer in that kidney, that it does not end up with the destruction of what this beautiful body holds. And with it, that information is carried through the soul of the man to another cycle as part of the chain of the universe, to galaxies, to stars, to planetary system, man and man on forward. We have to uproot this behavior, this structure of killing, destroying. When we cannot destroy others, we destroy ourselves psychologically, physically, and every other way. It's become the habit, is that seed of cancer. The first cell, the cell which can grow both ways, internally and externally. The purpose of the teachings, the purpose of bringing this technology back to this way, with a line of communication that every man on this planet more or less has access to a mobile phone, to a communication system, the latest possible, allows us to change that condition and position. According to the statistics, there are 2 mobile phones to every man on this planet. Now we can imagine the way we transfer energy, the way we are transferring in sessions of Fridays, information, data, and everything else to make a peaceful man out of the man, goes across all the mobile phones on this planet. It doesn't go from A to B. It goes to a satellite and it spreads across to find you where you are. Send a message to every single one. Are you there? Is this a connection? This is how we found you in the jungles of the Amazon. And now Mr. God knows not is putting more satellites. The Chinese are putting more satellites, that we cannot miss any of it. We put Ganses in the waters of the oceans, as many Chinese did in Shenzhen for many times every week. Many of you spread water across to change the structure, physicality of it. The mobile system has given us that opportunity to reach the soul of the man, because you use these phones and you don't stand on it. You put it next to your soul. You grasp it and you hold it so good, and many of you become such a good elephants that you put 2 wide ears in your both ears and we reach you. The change of the structure of the humanity using the technology which is there is become the best way for us to reach. In the coming time, we deliver the information of the peace to the worldwide communication systems without even the owners of the lines knowing that we are using it. We learned years ago that I don't patent anything because it's not mine, it belongs to my creator. But we use the patent to get the knowledge across this planet to every nation and man who wants to read it. We established our structure through the financial structure of American stock market to get the technology to every man who needs it. Physically, we reach you. Through the new space plasma technology, through cosmic ray structures, you pay for it to carry a mobile. We use it to reach your soul. All of you who join on Fridays, we don't send you special mobile phones connected to this and that. You take us into your soul with your own mobiles. And we are always correct. We always say, use 2 headsets, which is no difference between the right and the left, the emotion totality of the man in feeding the information. Soul needs only one to get to it. Does not need a stereo soul. The stereo is for the physicality of the man and the structure of the man. Now you understand. Life does not stop with man. Man is in the line of the chain of the creation of the creator. The question for man should be, where does this energy I create as my soul, as me, reference information point, go to? After its structure is completed. After it gathered enough energy, information to survive. Why do we need to go through the process of life, experience pain, experience love, experience hunger? What for? Does this happen to the earth? Does this happen to the solar system? Does it happen to the galaxies? Do they starve? Do they go to the salvation point? Do they everything else? Why does man go through this point? What's the purpose of it? What does it do when man matures and the soul of the man leaves the body of the man? Why does it need this experience? What is planned for our soul after departing the physicality? I cannot answer you that. Your intellect should answer you. We are not a religious group. We are here to enlighten. We are here to make you think. We are here to, in a way, for you to decide as it goes in the Islamic world, the hell and the heaven. We call it the Jahannam and Behesht, the hell and heaven. As it goes in the culture of what we call language, the word heaven, Behesht, comes from Farsi language, where the man feels the beauty of the Creator at peace. Why do we need this? Where are we going with our soul in the next step? That is important for it to be in balance, that it lives in the dimension of peace, love and creation. Does the life of man in collective awareness, in the structure of the life of the universe, is the emotion of the universe? Is this the purpose of our soul? We see a man, we say he has no feeling, he feels nothing, he's dead, he's cabbage. We see another man, we say how caring he is, He has emotion for everything. He feels everything. Is the purpose of our soul. Like when the physicality is made, physicality of the universe has become the emotion field strength of the universe. Does the universe, through our soul, collection of the souls of the created things with intelligence, which make decision in emotion, is the, as we call, neurosystem emotion part of the creation? Is this our purpose? Are we taking this emotion across the universe and we connect the galaxies and universes to connect to the universe to become part of structure with emotion? And then you understand why we have to stop the killing and destruction. Because if destruction becomes the emotion of the whole of the universe, universe, as we are the neural part of the neural system of it, then God help the creator. Now you know why we confine man to the village of earth to stop that seed of cancer, that initial seed in the cell. Like that our bone marrow every day, every second produces new cells that they can go up and take position with the energy effect of the cell of the skin which needs changing if it's burned, if it's damaged, the cell of the heart to be changed because it's time for it to be, is our soul in that cell which is moving to a position. But this position is to carry emotion. Would we be able in the future to measure the magnetic field, the strength of the plasma of the soul of the man, and say, the way we said this cell produced as a white cell to be in the blood, and said this soul is for peace in this position in the universe. These are not theories. These are the facts that you have to open your eyes to. Why have we been given emotions? Why do we carry feeling? And as we always said, soul has an emotion as the soul of physicality as a man. I made man in the image of myself. So when our soul leaves the physical body, becomes part of the neural system emotion of the universe. And that's the purpose of life. And this is the purpose that we stop man killing, destroying, that this disease through emotion does not become part of the structure of the universe. If you go back to the teachings, many times, I always explain, when a father has a regret for giving life, creates the emotion of heat, I don't want to produce another one that it can do and suffer, make me suffer, we get a cancer of prostate through the emotion we created. And this is the same with the creator. Does not want the cancer of killing to become part of his structure that he has to destroy itself. In a way, we take action before any reaction and spread of disease. 5 billion years, 10 billion years of the man or animals on this planet is nothing in the structure of the time of the universe. Man has made this 4 billion, 5 billion years. The life of the universe and universe is beyond man's rotation of Earth around the sun time. Is not, doesn't even count in the structure of the millionth of a second of the creation of the universe, let alone a minute or a second. And now we detected this disease, we detected this cancer in the behavior of the man. And this is why past years and years, we're trying to bring man, we tried with everything else, but man was not, could not have a communication that all men hear. Now you do, now you have the communication system. Couldn't we do it before the way we do with the cells? We could not reach to the cell of the cancer. Now we do. We change the soul, and the soul changes the physicality, and the physicality moves on to its own destruction. What will be interesting for many of you, as we become the passenger of the universe, don't look at the pictures you see as a object, man looking green, silver, or whatever color, where the front and the back is stuck together, which is the digestion system. That flat body, stomach, means there is nothing digestion. That is just a structure to hold, to be able to move the physical body when you have transmuted into the shape of the man from any position in the universe. You take the closest shape of, you don't take the totality of the physicality of. Those who did carry the body of the man, digestion system of the man, but live in a different dimension, which is a third of us on this planet. We've been well colonized and we've been well become mixed races. But those who colonized, who became part of, took the habit of the man. Now you have to understand the purpose of your life. And understand, in a way, you become that cell in that combination of the amino acid, which become part of the field strength of the emotion of the universe. You've been wondering, what happens to me, what happens to my soul? Now at least we narrowed it down to somewhere close. You got nothing to do with the physicality of, that's why you become a plasma, you live as energy. This is how our emotion is carried in our body as electrical current, not as pieces of material. And there is no current because it's a plasma transfer through a neural system. That's why you react instantaneously. Electronics cannot do, because electrons need to vibrate to create it. You travel through the field of the energy of the plasma. So now you understand why your soul leaves the body in the structure of a plasma. No physical dimension, energy, the way our neural system, emotions does work in our body. And this neural system cannot carry in it a false information, a track-minded cancer of killing, destructions. Then one day this destruction, this single cell, become the cancer which brings the whole body down. And the body of the creator cannot be brought down with a misconduct of a cell of the body of the man on this planet. Man has to understand his responsibility. Then he can take action to change it. Man is responsible for action, not anything else. Man is responsible to understand the emotion of the universe. This is why the Ayatollahs and the rest of them in Vatican cannot explain to you, because they don't understand. They're there to rob the man, for man never to be to the point to understand his responsibility in the world of the creation. We are not here just to eat, to have sex, and then do something else till the body goes. We are here, we train, we develop a part of the neural system of the emotion of the universe as part of our soul. It's our responsibility to deliver a perfect cell. Otherwise, you'll have genetic deformation and everything else in the structure of the universal life of this planet, this universe, and then this cell of this universe of us become another seed of cancer in the life of the unicorns. When we see a seed of cancer, we use chemotherapy. We go to a doctor and they open us up and take that seed of cancer out that doesn't spread to anywhere else, that the physical body of the man can stay alive and operate. You think this is not the purpose for the seed of the cancer of killing of the man on this planet, instead of uprooting it and throwing it away or hammering with a whatever you call chemotherapy and the rest and the radiation therapy, we decided we change the man instead of destroying it and throwing it away. We try to create an environment that the cancer is not created. The cancer of killing, the cancer of destruction cannot be to bring in the long term, the process, the whole of the creation. Why do you think we teach about the Ganses? Why do you teach how you take energy and you donate? Because then the body of the man changes, and then man does not kill. Forget about it from the root. We don't leave the seed that later on in future, somewhere in the structure of physicality of the creator, become another cancer seed. We notice that the cancer is spreading across the emotion of the universe. We found the source, and we are here to solve this problem. Not for the sake of the man with chemotherapy, but the sake of the whole structure of the universe. Your soul leaves this body with a cancer of killing, and we've seen it in the operation of the universe, and we are here to change it from the roots, not to destroy it, not to throw it away, not just to explode this planet that is no more. We need a neural system to be furnished, to be completely kept in operation. You don't throw the baby out with the bath water. You wash the child. You make sure next time it can be seen in a clear water. Now you understand the purpose of your lives. It's not for you to eat and have fun. In that process of having fun, enjoying that, how you can give life to another life with love, which is the attribute, beauty of the man, then killing that. And then that's the difference between the hell and heaven. When you recognize the purpose of your life, the part of the structure of the emotion of the life of the man in the universe and not on this planet. Now you understand the purpose, the operation, and the beauty in every soul. It just depends in what energy you carry this, that where your position shall be in the structure of the life. It's not slavery, it's love and caring to make sure that the life goes on in the universe and the unicos, as beautiful as it is. Maybe now you understand the purpose of your life. Maybe you open your eyes to understand more. There is more to life than this physical life of the man. We are not here to take the souls. We are here to deliver a perfect soul, a perfect connection, a perfect connection with the emotion of the man to the universe. That man teaches love, which is heaven, and forgets about hell, which is killing. Maybe for the first time you understand what it means. Would you like to be in the garden, in the Behesht, which came from the word, Persian word, heaven never existed in the vocabulary of any language, till they touch but the love of Iranians, the Persian blood. And it's become the dream of every man. And we brought the same thing through the Persian blood for the universe, for the man to understand. You cannot explain emotion if you have not felt the emotion. It's the purpose of life to be correct, to serve the rest of the creation. Man is not here just for fun. You have your fun, but the work comes when your soul leaves its position to take its place to create a perfect universe. The emotion it carries. You're that white cell which flows in the blood of the universe to make sure there are no diseases, but itself cannot become the cause of a disease. There's an old saying that say, whenever you don't want anything to rot, you salt it, you leave it in the salt. But the question is, what happens when the salt rots? What do you do with that? Have you ever seen fungus on a salt? This is the story of the soul of the man. We have a beautiful saying in Farsi which brings the emotion of the creation, but man does not understand. It's about the soul of the man if it gets rotten and divided. We say, هرچه بگندد نمکش میزنیم وای به روزی که بگندد نمک. Whatever can rot, we put salt on it to stop it rotting. Oh, God forbid the day that the salt gets infected and rots. The love of creation and heaven has come to you by a Persian boy. Maybe you understand the beauty of creation and why the behavior of man. You're not here to graze like sheep on the grass of the beauty of this planet. You're here to develop a soul which become part of the emotional neurosystem of the universe and unicos. And it has to be perfect. What happened when a white cell in the body of the man, which is there to overcome infection, gets infected itself? And this is the purpose of life. This is the heaven and hell. Maybe you go to your guru, you go to your priests, you go to your ayatollahs, and you go to your rabbis, and you explain this to them and see how their reaction will be. They kick you out of the church, the mosque, and the rest because they know they have no more position. You become wise to understand the truth about the creation and yourself, and not to the fallacies and the lies of the man-made books and change to fit the man, to benefit the pocket of the man. We go for a break and we come back, and I hope approach you one step further to understand the purpose of your life. Now you understand why suicide is forbidden. Maybe this brings you the understanding of one cannot destroy not even his own physicality of dimension, as that will leave a bad taste, bad information, bad emotion in the soul of that man, which takes place in another position in the universe, that becomes faster the seed of cancer, than when a man kills another. That's why suicide is a heinous crime. Because when it goes into the universe, the soul carries that information, that energy, and then the destruction button was faster. That's why it's forbidden. And then we don't need to solve it when it's in the body, like when the cancer spreads, we solve it at the beginning inside, before bed. Suicide. Because it carries a high information energy, and that in the space of the universe can create bigger problems. We go for a break and we come back. Try to understand, unravel more the secrets of creation. But not as a religious group, but as a scientific structure. We have to understand the science of creation, not the hypocrisy of who wants to abuse. Rick, would you take us for a break and we come back?
Sure, yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have for our intermission break here the fourth video in the first 5 videos of the Mr. Keshe back in 2009. This is the 4th in our series. We've played the other first three so far, and let me get that teed up here. This one is called Keshe 4 Fusion. It's about 9 minutes. And after that, we'll have our second part of the show where people will have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. You can put up your virtual hand if you'd like to speak directly. Otherwise, you can also use the chat or the Q&A in the Zoom here, or put a question in the YouTube chat as well. Okay, back in a few minutes.
What is very interesting is that now, when the separation of the proton and electron happens, which I explain in detail in the book, is that usually we see fragments coming out. They call it radiation leakage or whatever, yeah, of the separation. And this is actually a light. And this light is created not out of what the material of the neutron leaves out. Some of the light comes about because the two magnetosphere of the electron and proton move away from each other, and they create light. And that's what we see as like radiations, gamma rays, and some visible light. What is very interesting, and that's where in the earlier talk I spoke about it, where the fusion technology of today is going wrong, and they will not achieve fusion. As I said all the time, fusion technology of today, the way it's going through tokamak, is a sweet dream which will never come true. The reason being, I explain in a few seconds. First of all, in the world of fusion, they talk about billions of degrees they want to achieve with the center of the sun. As we know, and we are constantly in touch with the plasma physicists and in tokamak systems, is that the gravitational field within the center of these tokamak reactors is 0.1% G, 0.1.6% G. If they are going to replicate the temperatures and the fusion condition within the center of the sun, what is the gravitational field which is necessary for fusion? Where do they come up with the concept of thinking this as a plasma? This is a normal plasma. They use magnetic fields to squeeze it, and then what do? When they squeeze it, they make 2 hard balls out of this plasma, which is soft and gentle, and they try to fuse 2 hard balls. This does not work. This is a fallacy that the fusion technology can carry on to just do research and development. But First of all, it's illogical to squeeze two balls, which are soft and gentle you can work with, to a small hard ball, and then accelerate it and crash it together to fuse. Of course it will never happen. It's a fantastic idea. It's a good research, but not much. In reality, I have a very simple system. This is the shape of a tokamak, a torus reactor. Yeah, very simple. I explain where the difference is. What's the difference? What we developed, we call the plasma dilution technology. It's much easier to mix the content of two soft plasmas, like the egg. That's what it is. An egg is literally another plasma. It's easier to make an omelette with this than trying to make an omelette with the content of two hard-boiled eggs. No one can, and that's exactly what plasma physicists are trying to do. They squeeze, they cook the plasma to a hard ball, and then they want to make an omelette, mix it together. It won't happen. We developed the technology, which what we do, we soften. We soften the plasmatic magnetic field or magnetosphere around the plasma. It's very easy, it's soft. We soften it. So what they call a Coulomb barrier is reduced. We reduce the Coulomb barrier within the reactor to the level we like, because the rest of the environment of the plasma is in the reactor is the same level. So we come to the level that we would like to release the matter. We take the matter out. We would like to release the antimatter to use this magnetic field strength. We do the same. And then what happens? It's very easy. When it's finished, we allow them to come back to the position. We don't use the matter. We use this magnetic field. And this reduction in the magnetic field strength of the magnetosphere of the plasma, we call it plasma dilution technology. And that is very easy. We can achieve fusion of anything, matter, antimatter, heavy elements. We have even developed the technology at the same time that we can allow the electron, what I call interatomic fusion. It's easier to fuse atom internally than bringing two plasmas of two different atoms together to fuse. These two were made from the same source. So if I weaken this, I can allow the electron to come in and get absorbed. I get a fusion. I can handle temperature at this level. But when you come to create a tokamak condition, several hundreds of millions of degrees temperature, 7,000 degrees burn the shuttle and re-entry. We don't have the material, we don't have the knowledge, have access to these kind of materials to stand these kind of heats. And as far as I know and the other scientists know, there is no such a material in the universe. But we can reduce the Coulomb's barrier strength, magnetic field strength, because we create plasma the same as this. They just open up. So in fact, they all become part of, if you call this a reactor, the same. So I separate them. And in separating it, I have a plasma. Everything is in the same pattern. Everything is the same constituent matter. But now I can use the antimatters within the one core in interaction with the other core. The same principle as we talked about creation of gravity. What happens? I create magnetic field, a strength magnetic field of antimatter in the outer core, and I create a strength magnetic field of the matter, antimatter, within the inner core of my reactors. What do I have? A strong, powerful, gravitational, magnetic field condition. This is the breakthrough. This is what we understood. This is what brings back the whole philosophy of gravity, antimatter, and dark matter, and all other factors together. So we don't need to burn fuel. I finish with my job. I reach the position I want. I want to shut the reactor. I decrease the plasma condition strength field of the material. Everything goes back together. Voila. I can control, I can manage a few hundred degrees when the Coulomb barriers are in the same level. So this is what it is. This is creating energy creating motion, producing materials through the new understanding of fundamental matters, which are the matter, antimatter, and dark matter, without burning fuel, without causing and creating waste and nuclear waste and the rest of it, what we've seen. We have gone so far by burning matters that even the planet Earth creating limitation for what we can do any further. With this technology, hydrogen plasma, unlimited, no waste, no any damage to the environment. So that's what we call plasma dilution technology in conjunction with magnetic gravitational positioning for motion and for creating energies at all sorts of levels. At the same time, this is very simple. We can read in the book. We have shown very simply how it's done. We have explained very simple. If you do have such a control, this is what I just explained. Internally, a barrier, and external. So you have two core reactors, outside and inside, like planet Earth. So you achieve very simple results with a very simple actions. So we will speak about the parallel systems and what people call unidentified flying objects. Through this technology, nothing is identified, everything is known.
Okay, that was our excerpt from Keshe Fusion, part 4 of the 5-part series of the first workshops that Mr. Keshe did. All right.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
This still holds some 20 years later, more or less. Or 15 years later. As man has not managed, we managed to hold accordingly 30 seconds more than the other ones, and the Chinese now stay done, and the French is they're done better. But at the end of it, they cannot hold it. Doesn't matter what they do. Unless you open the plasma and allow the energy outside it comes in. You got to understand the problem with the new plasma technology, what we call the fusion technology. At the end of it, they are not using the energy of the plasma. They have not matured to understand this. And they are hoping to create an energy system to boil water to create energy at the end of it. When the fusion plasma scientists understand, okay, you made this, you created this, now you have a plasma free, you need to use its energy charge to create electricity, not to use it to boil water. And this is where plasma fusion will never work. It will never work, because unless you choose the path of using the energy of an atom, the way what we do, mankind will go on the same path. They spend billions trying to boil the water to, at the end, what we are doing, we are creating a better kettle to boil water. That's all it is, how we boil the water in this kettle. With electricity, with the wood, or we create what they call fusion. It will be clean. It will never be a clean energy if we don't use the energy of the atom, not the effect of the atom. This is the difference between the plasma technology and the what we call today physics. In the plasma technology, as we call it the cosmic ray, we use the energy of the atom. In the electronics, we use the vibration of the atom. That's physicality. This is fields. And they are worlds apart. Even one leads to the creation of the other, and the one leads to creation of back to itself. And once we understand this, the world of science changes. It's, as it says here, we don't need to do this. At this moment now in the Research Center of the Keshe Foundation, we are developing, testing systems which there is no dynamic system in it. What this means, we are reaching a point that we use a solid state condition to create everything one needs. Motion, lift, and everything else. This is the reason, and this is part of understanding how to create cosmic ray radiation, which creates that turbulence. You don't need to rotate when the field forces are there themselves to find position which create the rotation. The plasma technologies of the future step to come in, and steps which we are in as part of the research, is not anymore creating rotation. We saw those dynamic reactors with in Desensano, and many of you bought these reactors rotating. In the structure of the new research, there is no rotation, but we create everything else you can imagine. In the coming weeks, as is our habit, we'll show you the first static system which creates everything the man needs in life on this planet and below, or above, or anywhere else in the universe. It's not something we develop, this is something which we are testing, which confirms what is on this video, which was made 15, 20 years ago. The impact of the Keshe Foundation technology in the world will be unraveled in the coming days and weeks. Everything is set for it to break through. Everything is set for it to bring the change. And this video is actually tells a lot, which is against the rules of the physics of today, because a lot of PhDs should become street cleaners who did plasma technology in CERN and the rest. Very soon the scientists in CERN and these research laboratories, once the technology of Keshe Foundation comes, the only job most probably they get will be waiters and street cleaners in their countries. Two reasons. Once, nobody gives a job to a guy who's already preset in the ancient work, and nobody will accept the fallacies they forced on us to accept their hypocrisy. It's not a win. It's when I decide I want to learn, when I decide I'm prepared to understand more, is when the change will come for individuals and everybody else in the scientific world. Every day we are reaching that point that one integrated system that can produce everything man needs is already on the table. It's not if he can make gold, it's not if he can make oxygen, it's not if he can produce enough electricity for my house, it's not if there is he can lift and go anywhere. Like now is when all of us can have access to this technology. It will be made so simple that a man in the backwaters of Africa and South America will be able to make it. The knowledge this time will not be hidden. The knowledge this time will be so much in open that brings the change in the behavior of the humanity. Is the structure of the working of the fields of the universe, what we call cosmic rays, has to be understood for man to unravel the secret of creation. I don't need to wait to receive cosmic rays. The knowledge is so advanced that I create cosmic rays. The system is not to create a high voltage and get something to hit on it and make X-rays, or create a nuclear fusion or whatever to create an atomic bomb or nuclear bomb. That point of hypocrisy of the man is gone. As I said, people are negotiating for a nuclear bomb, which is already obsolete. What are you negotiating for? Bunch of children happy that they have a little toy car in their hand where the Ferrari stand outside and they can't even drive it. In the coming days, we'll change the course of humanity in respect to destruction of each other and nuclear weapons. Not by talk, but by actually delivering technologies which shows nuclear technology is obsolete, fusion technology is obsolete. The way man does it. Fusion technology happens in the universe every second. Is that uncooked egg? And when every time I look at this video, it brings me such a joy. I said that egg, the raw egg, when you stir it and mix it, it's a science of creation. And the two boiled eggs is like a head of the man, hard rock trying to get into it, that you've gone wrong in knowledge and technology. Hard-headed boiled eggs is exactly hard-headed scientist and man with the hypocrisy of misunderstanding the world of creation, and is still trying to carry on with it. Wonderful times are ahead. And it's not religious, it's understanding the science of creation. And it's time for man to understand it. We have a small announcement, and it's very small but very effective. Maybe it's in the dimension of where he has to go. We have received a donation from one of the knowledge seekers for the space flight test, which we announced last week, where he would like to donate it, that there might be a soul that it could be more befitting than him, that might achieve something. We have accepted the donation with one proviso. If any of you would like to be that soul, write to us within the next 24, 48 hours. And we allocate that place to that person. But at the same time, the man who donated receives the same gift. To be part of the experiment. So if you like to be a part of this flight, pre-flight testing, please write to the foundation And we choose, not the ones who always right and get. We decide, the soul to decide, and sometime next couple of weeks you join us in the flight test system, pre-flight transportation test, which the instructions have gone to the Keshe Foundation laboratories how to do and what to be done. And you receive a special materials, follow the procedure in the flight condition, and then you join us automatically into the main session for the what we call part of you, now 6 instead of 5, become part of the satellite system to take those who are in your sessions with you into space, expanding the soul in the dimension of transportation. You become the captains because you carry the systems with you. And you become those who will take shape in that dimension. So if you want to be part of the transmutation trial, please send your request to the foundation within the next 24 hours. And then the foundation decides on who, and in conjunction with the man who donated it, will become part of the test. In the next 2 weeks, we will have very fantastic news, amazing news for all the knowledge seekers that befits where the foundation will go. And we try to bring it into balance with what it should be and how it will take shape. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have a number of questions in the Q&A here. We don't have any hands up yet, and I'll remind our attendees here in the Zoom, you can put up your virtual hand if you can find it, and then we're able to open your microphone so you can speak. Okay, so let me see here. Let's start with George, who has 2 questions.
Yeah, I've heard from George for a long, long time.
Okay. It says, Mr. Keshe, for a person who deals on a daily basis as part of his job with people's emotional traumas, what is your advice on how to rebalance himself from all that emotional energy that he absorbs and causes chaos in his own personal life? What plasma products would help him in this case? Thank you.
There is an old story. For people in this job is very hard, but I think the attachment from the emotion, but attachment to evaluation of emotion helps a lot. What it means, you cannot get involved with every case of the patient, but you can understand the condition which created that emotion. It's not Gans's, is understanding how to be aware of one's emotion directly and stand off. It's not that I'm just a doctor, as you know, it's a 9-to-5 job, nothing to do with me, which is 80% of the people who work in this world. But to be involved in understanding the emotion which created that emotion, it can be transferred to you from one person to another. Detachment, but attachment is in a way. And one of the best combination of cancers on the dimension of emotion is connect through pure CH3. With the connection of hydrogen. You need a combination of the two to reach as energy, not as connection of fields. And it's very effective. But on the other hand, not many of you produce what is supposed to be hydrogen or CH3 as the energy pack. You make something and you call it a CH3. And when it comes to emotions especially, never touch CO2 and never touch zinc. Emotions are energy dimension and not matter connection. And what do you call, when you add or use any combination of ZN, you connect it to the dimension of physicality, which emotion, then it has attachment. Any other question? This is the second question.
Okay, and the second question says, in the last teaching, I felt my soul expanding at like 10 centimeters all around my head. Does this mean that the entire body was covered by the soul or just the head? Since from the body part, I felt nothing about the soul expanding.
In a way, you became big-headed. It all depends how you do, how you feel.
He did say, thank you for the experience. It was new and beautiful.
You're welcome. In the teachings, in the future teachings, but we will not announce it where and when, the Thursday's teachings, as we become a larger structural international organization, will carry in a background energy fields will change the course of humanity, and a lot of you will feel different in the sessions. We have to achieve 2-3 more sections of the research and development that this technology becomes accessible by everyone. One of the tests we'll do collectively on Thursday is try to feed all of you without you knowing. Try to bring your emotion of peace without you knowing. And see how the reaction will come. We never announce it. But we start part of the process of the unification. Keshe Foundation, one planet, one nation, one race, to feed our citizens. There's a lot of structure going on now to create that condition of the promise of the Universal Council, where when you come on the session of the Thursday till next Thursday, you will not touch food. You will not feel depressed. You will be joyful people. And you come here every Thursday for the queue to get fed and unload what you don't need. But collectively, hundreds of thousands of you. And it pays and it works when you're on live lines, not listening to the sessions later on. And then gradually, in the process, we allow it access 24 hours a day. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. We had a question from Buse Michael in German, who says in English, "Good morning. I like the scent of wild mushrooms. Is there a way to create the scent of mushrooms plasmatically?" Thank you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You can. You can do this quite easily. Don't forget, smell is part of the spectrum. And you can't create it. You have to understand the structure of it. Any other question? It's easier to make the smell than actually the gases, if you know what to do. If you understand the principle of the smell. Any other question? Have you run out of questions?
Sorry, my mic was off there. Question from Anonymous: Is dark matter the same as the principal structure of a plasma?
Repeat?
The question is dark matter the same as the principal structure of a plasma?
Dark matter is literally the same principle as a black hole. Is dark to you or dark? Like, I don't understand where this terminology of the dark matter came. Who came up with it? Like CO2 and greenhouse. It was a Dutchman who wanted to make money. I don't know who came up with this dark matter terminology originally. If you understand, dark matter is position, time, place, respected. What is dark to you is light to me. So, how do we categorize something as a dark? And dark matter doesn't exist because, in a way, it's like a black hole. It has a structure which absorbs the energy around it. But at the end of it, you can see the energies when they interact with it. If you are knowledge seekers and you had your hands in gas making, one of the first things you ever come across in the process before you get gases is dark matter, which is the coating layers on your copper, zinc, or whatever plates. So dark matter is absolutely exactly what is absorbing to you, looking dark, but in fact is a source of energy. Once you coat a copper and you put it in the salt container, when you make your gases, why do you think you create CO2? I created nanotechnology using the way it is by understanding the creation of the black hole. But these layers you create, it creates a black hole magnetic field energy of a carbon. Carbon is 12. You need configuration of 5 nano copper in interaction with each other to make a 6th one, to create or to have a balanced field energy of the copper. That then, because it's an energy format, it absorbs carbon from space. The nano-coated copper is the best dark matter black hole one could ever create that physically can explain. Carbon is 12. Copper is around 60. So it has a factor of carbon. This is why I chose it to produce the CO2. This is why in teachings I refer to this quite some time, that the beauty with this technology is that we have understood the process of creating magnet for anything. That's all we do. When you make that copper coating, the black, 5 combination, don't forget, you look at your own skin, made it 6, and when you get a 5, is where the energy goes through. With amino acid combination of carbon, you get a football. It's not the all letters footballs you used to make, they are not all 6-sided. There's an odd 5-sided in to be able to hold. And this is exactly why I chose copper. And the other thing is, if you understand something very, very simple in the world of physics, which nobody has ever understood, and it puzzles me, not even the world of science has ever stand still to understand this reality. Copper is 60. CO2, or CO, is what kills the man, does not let you absorb oxygen, the rest of it. But if you go back and understand the work of the cosmic rays, there's a very interesting point. It makes me laugh. I laugh at this so many times, especially when I speak to the plasma physicists, I speak to electrical engineers and the rest of it. And the best combination of the transmission of information in the dimension of the fields is matching number. There is a reason for it. As a nuclear physicist, I solved this one years ago. I sat with Professor Leslie on a table in Queen Mary College, and I explained to him. He told me, "You're nuts, Mehran." He said, "You're crazy." But he said, "It's a secret. Why don't you put this out?" I said, "No." He said, "Write a paper on it." I said, "No way." Carbon is 12. Copper is 60. And the best transmission with copper cables is 60 hertz. If you understand this in the world of science, this gives you a clue how the creation works. And if you understood this part of the science as a plasma, as conversion of energy fields, then half of the riddle of the world of creation in a matter state, energy transfer should be resolved. Actually, 80% of it. And we understood this, and I teach people in the lab quite frequently. We actually use it. And this is part of the structure of the universal creation. But we have not understood this. The scientists don't understand the connection between the matter state and the energy state. That's why I always say it's the first time in the world of science, in the Keshe technology, we can take the matter to energy and from energy to matter. Deaf ears. Any other question?
Well, we have a hand up with Antonio. Antonio, would you like to go ahead, please?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning.
Thank you, Rick.
How are you keeping in Australia?
Yes, good. This, everything is all right.
You're getting ready for the winter.
Yeah, it's starting to. Oh no, it's still warm here, but it is cooling down in the morning. Mr. Keshe, with your teachings today, I have one and a half questions. One in particular, when it comes to travel and the emotion of killing, until we can overcome that, what you're saying is we would not be allowed to travel, or there would be a problem with that?
There's not a problem. I put it in a very strange way, but it's truth behind what I say if you understand the bigger picture. You know, it's like when you do something wrong in the classroom and the teacher picks you up and says to stand in the corner, you can't be with the rest of the class.
Yeah.
Man is that the student standing in the corner and has been put out of the class by his own conduct, not by anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we stand. You choose. It was very funny. I was talking to a girl who is vegan and not even a vegetarian. And I said to her, if I tell you what I know, and I sat and I explained this to everyone who tells me they're vegetarian and vegan, within days they start eating meat and they don't want to much eat vegetables and lentils. The truth is we stay blind to the fact that we look at the collective energy. I always said, if I could frame it in another way, we said the punishment of the killing is whatever, being distance away, or because you become lower in the field structure, whatever, away from the source or whatever. When you kill an animal or you eat one animal, you kill one soul. So your punishment is not bad. When you eat a bowl of rice, a bowl of lentils with 1,000 lentils in it, killing 1,000. The truth is, why vegetarians are so calm and quiet mostly? Because they've been put further than the others from the front row, because they kill more. But they think they are very good, that they don't kill a walking animal, but actually killing the vertical guy. It's, does the vegetarian stands further from the creator than the meat eater? We claim was the position of Hitler compared to a man who is a doctor and works in the operating room, or a street sweeper. We say he goes to hell because he created so much death. But what about the man? We are ignorant to the truth. If you understand this, would you like to be a vegetarian or a meat eater?
Neither.
But at the end, that's where we're getting to, isn't it?
So we absorb 80% of energy in our body, and 20% is matter.
Yeah, but that 20% creates so much mayhem.
Yeah.
Our soul doesn't go to kill.
There was a lady, I remember a lady, they made her a saint, that she didn't eat. She stopped eating. And I think she just drank water. Would that be still killing a soul?
Not really.
Right.
No, it's just explaining it the right way. When I was young, I had an uncle. He passed away, bless his soul. He was Indian, and I used to live with them for some time when I came to England, went to university, and he was a vegetarian. And he got in, when you're young, you do stupid things, whatever. Because I lived with them, he got into my head that to be a vegetarian, he was a Hindu. And so being young and, 18, 19, going to university, and I spent a lot of time with him, and he was fashionable. So I became a vegetarian. My vegetarian term lasted 7 days. After 7 days, I started bleeding heavily. And I went to a doctor. He says, "What have you changed?" I said, "This." He said, "Your body is not made for being a vegetarian. That's what you've done to yourself. Your body is killing itself." And I gave up. And then he got to me again a few months later. This time lasted only 3 days. My pillow used to be full of blood and everything. And I said to myself, I'm not being born to, because I have to understand the emotion of why man eats this way. And that was the end of trying to be a vegetarian. And nowadays I understand more, one side to the other in a different way. It's how we feel, what emotion it creates in us, which is important. But can our body carry that transfer? That's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem for humanity is, would we be able not to eat for a long time even when we see the food? Is it the essence? Is it the smell? Is it the emotion? When we see an apple, we want to eat it, even though we are not hungry. Or we forget about it and we just enjoy its beauty. And we try to get to that point.
this sort of leads on to the people in Gaza. Is there still a system happening where the Keshe Foundation is still able to help them?
No, I think we changed that. If I remember, I don't know. I've been so busy with other things. I think no, it was brought down. It doesn't operate because they came to a peace or something, and so as no, it's stopped. I check and let you know.
Yeah.
I think it's a stop. I'm sure our team are listening to us in the background, sending a message. I think it's not there since I never followed up because, as far as we're concerned, the situation changed.
With your system, Mr. Keshe, as it can feed people, do they have a choice of what they'd like to eat, or is it just feeds them?
I just received the message the Zoom line is switched off. You don't choose. Your body chooses what feels it needs and what emotion it creates for that field. It's not what we call the choice. If it needs it and you receive a field which has given the strength of the banana because you felt you want a banana, so you receive it. Yeah. We are testing beautiful things at the moment. I think that the technology from certain points that we're reaching a pivotal point in the whole cycle of the technology. It's taken us months to complete this aspect of technology, and literally makes everything the Keshe Foundation has done for the past 20 years, collectively working together, makes the rest obsolete. But we couldn't get to this point if we would have come up the ladder step by step. We got to the what I call the roof of knowledge in creating many things. It's just how we will now build the next step to the next roof, to new dimensions of understanding. And I'm sure within the next few weeks and months, many, many things will change. Many things will change in respect to the dimension of the space technology.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Things are happening around the foundation as we get recognized as a new dimension in space technology by governments and other dimensions of the structure. Changes will come. I think structures like SpaceX will not be around much longer. And the way they are, they'll reshape themselves, they'll revamp themselves coming up another way. As there's a new boy in town, one with a lot more than what they can offer. We try to keep away from public in what's happening. We try not to bring what's going on. And very soon you will see. We are in possession of the knowledge that is come across to us. It's taken us years to get it. We have come out of the obscurity, been accepted as a structure which will bring the change. We could not get this for years. And now we have to be prudent. And with it, we can bring a lot of changes. We have that opportunity to make that change in our persistence in continuous development research has given us that gift in the very recent past, in past 24 hours. It will change the course of the Keshe Foundation worldwide and the operation and the way we put the technology out. But it's been persistence in research and development. Even with the problems we had in past 3-4 years with the massive fraud, every cent came into foundation, went into research. We didn't give up, we didn't close research. And now we see the fruit of it. And this is part of the work to understand. But this time, it's not just teaching the science, it's understanding the ethics of science of the creation. That's the biggest problem. And if we can produce and stick to this structure, it'll be amazing. We're now civil. I mean, most of some of you already gradually come to know, but you don't understand the significance of it. But the whole structure of the work of the Keshe Foundation and the way, in a way we call it, the recognition of the technology as a breakthrough technology has been received in past 24 hours. And this will bring the changes we've been waiting for.
I'm looking forward to it, Mr. Keshe.
It's already with us. I'm working very hard in the background, trying to make it ready that when it actually comes out in a way publicly, we can handle it. A lot of work is going on to do this. Massive amount of finances has been put into it in the past 2 or 3 weeks to bring that position. Whatever we had has been put in. What we are doing is put into it the time, the effort, and to make sure the technology does not just become another engine, but it becomes an engine in changing humanity. We suffer greatly financially because of it, but always has been a position to be, and we had to do it. We've invested totally, purely in research to get to this point, especially in the past few weeks, to achieve this. And now we achieved it, and we've been blessed by what I call authorization from President Trump in the past 24 hours for the emergence of the technologies, one of the leading technologies in the world of space.
That surprises me a little bit because I thought he was against you at one stage.
We had it for a long time. We received a message last night and we sent it in public domain.
Good news.
We wait. We have to do a lot of things and then just jump out. We received the support we were looking for recognition, and it's been approved in the past 24 hours. Maybe it's because of the peace talks coming up in the next 48 hours, as we've always been used as a tool by the Americans, Keshe Foundation, for different aspects of the peace talks. In a way, what do you call it? We are not saying, oh, we done it. We just been used again as a tool, but this time we use a tool to bring what we wanted.
I could never understand this stance about nuclear weapons when Israel has nuclear weapons. So
it's very easy because you have to understand what's behind it. When they force Iran to give up its nuclear weapon, and even now they're asking for the missiles to be handed over or destroyed, what they did with the Eastern blocs at the time of the change, is then Iran is a belly-up dog. Israelis can attack anytime, anywhere they want.
Yeah.
And then there is nothing, it's just them running. But that position has changed without them knowing. It's very amazing. That in a way, they're dealing with obsolete structure. But on the other hand, we advised the Iranian leadership for months to change position, and now they are forced to change position. When we sat and pushed for authorization for negotiation to be approved directly, we were told we will be killed if we enter this zone. Keshe Foundation team on a daily basis worked with the Iranian administration office, Ayatollah Khamenei's office, to get the authorization that we can talk face to face. And we abandoned the Iranian government and we walked away because now they are forced to it. You got to understand the situation with Doha talks on Saturday is not out of the will. It's out of, we wiped out the half of the leadership of Hamas and the others, and the top leaders of the Houthis have gone. We know where you all live. Would you like to stay alive, or would you like to have a taste of it? Where when we suggested it months ago, we stood firm. Our team stood firm with Ayatollah Khamenei's office, very firm. We would not budge. We were told if we enter direct negotiations on behalf of Iran as Keshe Foundation, we'll have consequences. We tried to bring Iran with dignity out, but they were got into negotiation with the shame, with the hand. It's worse, but the advice was totally different. But now we stand as a different structure, and the negotiation will go one way and one way only: disarmament of the old technology, or emergence of the new technologies which Iran has achieved, which that's another reason. But
so your technology makes nuclear weapons obsolete.
Our technology belongs to all of us.
Yeah.
We collectively built it past all years as knowledge seekers. And we'll come to that point very soon, very, very soon. I physically signed off any collaboration with the Iranian government weeks ago.
Yeah, I was a bit worried, Mr. Keshe. I was really worried there for a while, but it looks like they're going to sit down and have a.
You see, we're dealing with a man in Trump administration who owes nobody no money.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, those who could be with him to support him, they left him. So he knows his friends more than anything else. So he has no fear of anything. Whatever they want to do with him, they're done with him. And he is. Sometimes the thing he does, it reminds me of me when I was younger in the world of business. You don't do wrong, but you let the others calculate their own losses. And in them calculating their losses, they always come around. When I used to be in business, I used to have a way, I still in Keshe Foundation have this way. When I went to a negotiation, I told them what I want, even if it was a loss to them. I explained to them why my work pays you better, it works better for you, and walk away. And they always told me they don't want to see me in their office, but later on always called, can you do this? Because I gave people what I thought worth for what I was doing or what they were giving me, even though it was 10-20% of what others were giving. I said, it's there. If you go to the point of bankruptcy, you have nowhere to go. This is my deal, is on the table. And they knew there's a fear of bankers. They knew their position. That's why they come to a person like me. I was the end of the bottom of the line. If they could get 100%, they got 100%. They could get 50%, they got their 50%. When cash gives 10%, at least it's 10%, it gives us the support to survive. And it stays in the mind, am I going to lose everything or at least give the 10% to stay alive? No, it works that way. He is one of the most astutest people I've ever seen. He's very astute. He's very, very intelligent. And he did the same thing with us in the recent past. Now he's done the same. If you look at it, the best example of it is past 7 days. He put a huge tariff on the 60-odd countries. They all panicked. Stock market went down. And yesterday says, okay, 10%. Now you have the fear of so much big, not 10%. People are happy to pay. And the stock market has gone up, has never gone up so fast ever in the history of the stock market in one day. He creates that fear, but he never acts on it. Do you understand? But he gets the result he wants.
China hasn't come on board yet.
Listen, he's got 100 other countries on board, but you miss the point. You know, when they torture you, they beat you up, they put hot water on you, they electric shock you, yeah?
Yeah.
You're happy when they just beat the bottom of the flat of your foot. It says, okay, at least it's done getting all that pain. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need to do it. He said, what is he going to do? Throw hot water, you give you electric shock and everything else. You're happy with beating up the foot. He got his nation to accept 10% inflation directly on their book. And they're happy they're getting 10%. Because at the end of the day, the nation pays the tariffs. 10%, you understand? 10%, he's increased the price of everything, which America imports huge amount of goods on his nation. And people in America are happy they got 10%. They pay, but they're not aware of what is done to them. You understand?
Yeah.
And there is certain things in the world is for certain. Death, taxes, and birth. You understand?
Yeah.
And now Americans are happy they're paying 10%. They were not even paying that. There was zero last week. Now they're 10%, they're happy. But what he's done is that he's very clever. You got to understand, because I work with a lot of economists. I worked with a lot of people in the world of finance in a very deep way. Close friends of mine are mainly in the financial world, bank leaders, Minister of Finances and the rest. What he's done, he's brought a new way. He didn't increase the taxes to 60% for this or whatever. He actually did it to tax his people. He's got the American to accept 10% taxes because the tariff is what tax. But it has one advantage. Again, he's very clever what he's doing. Whoever is advising him is not a globalist. And is not, for sure, Musk. His plan will be in next 6-12 months, maybe sooner, maybe later, to demolish taxes. He wants to go back to the old tariff base. Tariff base has one advantage. It's the most just, the most fair way for a society to live. Reason being is very simple. You make money, you hide it. You hide 30% of it here, 20% of it there. You find everything around not to pay it. make different policies, make different insurance policies to hide your money. So the government loses a lot of money by these hidings. You do a black work, I don't want on the book, I want it on the, cash and the rest of it. 28% of the Belgium national income is in black, according to the government itself. Dutch go to 50%. Tariff is the only way that nobody needs to worry about taxes. Very soon he'll demolish the tax business, income tax. He already said over time he doesn't need to pay tax. People work this, don't need to pay tax. There is no tax on tips. He's giving you the indication where the American goes. He brought the corporation tax to 15%. Because he's relying on income from the tariff, and tariff people will go with it. Why? Because now it's in my pocket what I earn. I don't need to pay taxes for it. But the way the death, taxes, and birth are the three things guaranteed, everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to buy clothes, everybody needs to buy a car, everybody needs to buy fuel. He's going to put 10% taxes on everything. So the guy who makes $1 million can't hide it because he's got to eat, he pays taxes. He got to buy clothes, he pays taxes. The bigger clothes buy, the more expensive car he buys from outside, he pay more taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
This is the way he's working. And let me explain something. Soon, very soon, thanks to knowledge seekers in the background who are doing a lot of things for the Keshe Foundation, we'll change that to one currency through cash coins. The beautiful in Keshe Foundation are working this to be done. It's not just me, that these people understand the work and we're getting a structure that way. So you pay your taxes according to what you use. You don't pay taxes to pay to a teacher who doesn't go to work. You don't pay taxes for the man who works in the government office who hasn't been to office for 3 years but he still get paid. He's not just hitting one, he's solving the totality of problem. Very soon, the pattern of his work will become a pattern which most of the nations will follow. We go back to 40 years ago, more, 60 years ago. His way of taxation, the way he got everybody frightened with the tariff, he's actually making people to accept tariff because of what it is. 10% tariff will become what is known as a VAT we collect in the West, but this is consumption tax. As you know, Americans have different taxes, the state tax, that's federal tax and the rest of it. But this 10% will come, which means all Americans, rich or poor, all pay towards the operation of the government. But he closed the losses in the government by closing all the waistlines. And Americans are happy. The stock market is jumping up and down this morning. It's gone up so much. And it was diving. It's going to be the end of the economy. But what did he do? Now, with this move, he already attracted over 10 trillion investment into US. Keshe Foundation soon will invest in the United States massively. We'll announce it, you will understand. We are in that position, we're coming to that position. But because it allows another dimension to our work.
Will it eventually be, Mr. Keshe, basic universal income that everyone will be given a certain amount?
We, with collaboration, have instructed our people who work with governments. Some of them are on the line, they listen, they don't put them. I have asked them to start negotiation with the government. And in next few weeks, we will be in that position. We guarantee food supply to every citizen on this planet through Keshe Foundation and in exchange for 1% of GDP. We have people in a position who have access as part of the Keshe Foundation to world leaders. They're actually working on it, the documents for it's getting drawn up. That nobody needs to go hungry. You have access to a mobile phone, you have access to a radio. Through these channels, we feed your nation. Why do you think you lot come on Friday sessions? You're coming there for sitting there and testing. We are testing what is the capability of our systems. When nobody goes hungry in the nation, it's a good leadership. But a nation cannot afford it. We have the technology, we can afford it. We need no satellite. We can transfer the energy conversion directly to the people. These are not dreams anymore. You lot, when you said, Mr. Keshe, you said, no, we have a US Keshe Foundation. Every time you came to these sessions, you paid us to develop the technology. It's for the future to come. We need huge amount of finances to carry on with our work. But somehow, with the grace of God, here and there, knowledge seekers donate, give us money, and through other processes, we can carry on with this work. But in the coming time, very soon, why this universal hunger will not exist? We have a problem with what happens to the farmers they produce. Farmers become part of 28 million farmers in China are below poverty line. Their children go to bed hungry. 15% of the children in America go to bed hungry. 5% of the children in Africa go to bed hungry because they can go to the jungle, they can get something off the tree. Americans think chicken comes from supermarket. You understand? They need more than they do. But we are delivering the promised knowledge when there will be the land of honey. But it had to come amongst you, through you, not just one person pushing. All of you, you and the others and the rest of the knowledge seekers, continuously to your own ability have supported us. And that has given us the next step, next step, next step. Now we are in a which we need a huge amount of finances to complete our work. I don't lose sleep on it. I know your soul will respond, the soul of humanity will respond, because it's for them. We don't need to talk. It comes by itself. I wrote to one of the bank directors, banks in the nation past few days. And I said, you regret doing what they did to us, stealing money from us, allowing people who now come, warrants have been issued for the arrest to do this. But soon we come back to you and you regret what you've done, allowing millions to go to your bank and people who you allow to be done, because most probably their managers got a hand in it. But do we do wrong? No, it had to come to that point. It pushed us to this position. Sometimes you don't want to go, they push you. You have no choice, you're in the crowd. Delivery of technology is in that crowd. The whole humanity soul is pushing it to go to where it's going to. You ask about the Palestinians. We done the test, we know. Now it's time to respond to nations. And we can't give a mobile phone to the woman in Sahara when she hasn't seen the mobile phone, she can't afford one. Thanks God, there's a guy called Musk, and he's putting hundreds of satellites up in the sky. Mr. Musk is sending information out to find Wi-Fi system now. No, none of them use GPS. None of the new satellites developed by Musk uses GPS. They use Wi-Fi, reaching the closest satellite next to them. They're using the Wi-Fi system for satellite to satellite, no GPS connection. Can we use Can we connect to these Wi-Fi system plus the 5,000 satellites Chinese are putting into space in the next 5 years? They've done most of it up to now. That we transmit information as an energy, as food, that it touches every soul, every man on this planet, and every animal. You got to understand, we don't work one way. Everything is set. We have the communication lines directly without any satellite. But on the other hand, to feed this world, these guys have put everything up there. Excuse me, Mr. Musk, can we just have one channel using your Wi-Fi system? What do you call it? The new mobile phone system, it reaches you everywhere. I don't need to reach every mobile phone. To the technology we developed, we have it, we operated it, you lot were on it last month and the month before and the month before. I can reach the soul of every created things on this planet. I can feed everyone 24 hours a day. I just don't need to do Palestinians. And we need our finances to be done, but it comes. We need nearly 500,000 to complete the job. But every penny goes into it, because I know at the end the structures are all getting there. I don't need high frequency, high speed communication. I needed that Wi-Fi to be able at low level transmit certain technologies which we know, which reaches the soul of the man, the animal, and the rest of it. Everything is getting set up to change the soul of the man, the habit of the man. I just gotta wait. Mr. Musk and the Chinese government are doing a lot of good things, putting these satellites up and using Wi-Fi as a transmission connection. You get it?
Bright future, very bright future coming.
It's not a bright future. We had to change things, but things had to be done that every man changes. The easiest thing was just to blow up this planet and get rid of it. The hardest thing is to go through the hardest way. Wait thousands of years gradually, that man become knowledgeable, you change. Then through the man you change the animals. This is the beauty of it. The lion will still kill unless man develops a technology that can feed that lion. The lion and the lamb lying or sleeping in the same nest comes from the knowledge of the man. And knowledge of the man to this level comes from the collective soul of the man. And this is why it's going through these phases. You think you'll understand why the White House changed position. And I said last teaching and the teaching before, you touch Iran, you deal with me. And nobody wants to deal with us. We don't fight, we deliver technologies. Let them do, then we see. But they chose a different path in past 24 hours.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, you made a number of comments, especially in your first teaching today, about various things about the humans on Earth. And let me put up a post that you put up recently, and maybe you can explain it for people. This was a reply to the Elon Musk parody channel. And the question is, what is getting deleted? And the question is, delete one thing from Earth that you think would make it better. And your reply was humans. And is that that's kind of what you've been speaking of, basically, is it was either delete the humans or come up with systems that can help them make this transition. Is that true, basically?
More or less, you know, this X which I put in, you'll see a lot of reports around the social media from Keshe Foundation in coming weeks. You understand why. The beauty of what I see with X, because I know Musk watches Keshe Foundation work quite closely because he uses a lot of our technologies. Is that the way what do you call, when I used to teach on NASA channels, and they wrote to me, one of the management of the NASA forum wrote to me, DARPA is trying to get rid of you, they're forcing us to block you. And I hope the same thing doesn't happen with Musk. But on the other hand, he's there. And he does. We need part of this work is collectively to be done. But it's good. I sometimes put comments on X because it still gets censored. It's not a clean. Facebook and Google are massively with it now. You'll see a lot of people around Keshe Foundation are getting pressurized because these are the old guard, the ones who kept us out. Like the Biden administration, the Obama administration did everything to cut out Keshe Foundation. And now the structures like Facebook, which is still part of their structure, has started concentrating on blocking Keshe Foundation supporters in different ways, out of nowhere. And we'll see that happening. I hope that won't happen in the X condition, but we'll see. It's an interesting time ahead of us. Very much interesting time ahead of us.
Elon Musk's XAI just bought X, actually just bought the X platform. So now it's all one corporation.
What do you mean?
Is XAI, it's called, which includes Grok and other AI functions.
AI is good, yeah.
Just AI. bought X for I think $33 billion, something like that.
Oh, they paid 44 for it. They sold it for 36.
Well, sold it to him, one of his
To
own
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI. We, as I explained to you, Keshe Foundation owns now Keshe Foundation AI. AIs are going to be massive if people understand the process of it. Because AI works that I look at my own home first. So we have bought a number of AIs where it become the building blocks of the whole knowledge you receive by going to AIs. In a way, we used to go to Google and Google it. Now we AI it. And they go to the first base AI based and going to anybody else. So we have acquired a number of AI websites for the Keshe Foundation to protect us. When I tell you we spend a lot of money trying to do things in advance, looking at the future, and we control the base, which allows us to deliver the correct knowledge. We own Cosmic Ray AI, which is one of the most fundamental courses for the new space technology and work. We own Soul of the Man, which teaches about the soul. So when AI goes to what is based in the house, which hits us first, and we teach the basic principle. And we own Universal Plasma, because owning plasma or the soul has no meaning. And these allows us now with the AI team we are putting up in Keshe Foundation, thanks to the Chinese and the Russians, hopefully help us. And Rafael from Mexico is provider of the knowledge from what we do in the Keshe Foundation, and with the Brazilian, will strengthen us to teach the correct knowledge from the base. When we own cosmic ray AI, means now we can transfer knowledge correctly what cosmic rays are. And AIs come to us first to pick up the knowledge. And the soul of the man, AI, will allow us to teach about the soul, not the hypocrisy of the religions. I just don't sit do research. I have to watch every angle of the work of bringing knowledge of the Keshe Foundation the correct way. We have secured a large number of AIs because we are the future. We are where the knowledge will come, but AIs get in. AI doesn't go to Google if it receives enough correct knowledge at the base and the basis with AIs. And now it's job of the AI team of the Keshe Foundation to fill it up, to put the right information out of the teaching in. What goes wrong from now on is the responsibility of the knowledge security. It's got to be done the right way. Fill up knowledge, go through the teaching, extract it, give it to the AI team, and let them load it up. Or if you know how to load up and you understand, work with the AI team of the Keshe Foundation to load up and put information. Be it the farming, be it the soul, be it the wellness application, be it the flight system, we have that base. And now we can build the base the correct way. We spent thousands the past weeks just purchasing AIs, which will change the future. I gave you a few hints before. Why do we get educated the way that everybody only accepts degrees and what the medical world says? Because Rockefeller did. He made everything turn to his way. He made us even to believe that the oil comes from fossil fuel, which has no relevance. Now we know the knowledge. When you set the base, you can change the course. We set for peace, we change the course. We buy these AIs, we set, and we influence through knowledge, not lobbying. And that's how it works. Any other question?
Thank you. I've got another hand up here with Carl and also with Alfred. Carl, could you go ahead, please?
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, Rick. Yeah, Carl checking in from Australia, where daylight savings makes it a bit easier for us Aussies to tune in. So, yeah, I just wanted to try, and I wish we did more reiteration in these sessions. I know you do, Mr. Keshe, with your teachings, but for knowledge seekers to try in their own words to talk about what you've just taught us. So I'm going to have a go. I'm probably going to get it wrong, but yeah, so you're saying that through the purity of our intentions, after we pass, that leaves an effect on the plasma of this earth, and from that it flows through to the unicos. So that our purpose in life is much more than just what we do and say. It is the broadcasting of our own emotions interacts with the magnetic fields of the earth, and from that, hopefully, we can make a better world on at that level as well.
More or less. So, yeah, you're not wrong, but on the same path is correct. More or less,
Yeah.
that's what it is. We have a structure in our physical body which creates fields which are an emotional level. They're not just created out of nowhere. The same fields happens between the soul of the man and the planet. We have our human emotion, and we have an emotion which is connected with the interaction of the field of the planet. That's why we are attached to it. And when we reach the point of maturity of the separation, we carry that with us. This is why, if you go back to some teachings, I always say, when they see the sources, this soul is from planet Earth. He had that characteristic. And as I said, for those who are wise, is you go to a computer shop, the guy comes and just fixes and puts a hard disk in and does everything else and gives you a computer. But you still have to put that disk in it or put a key in it for the essence of it, for the knowledge of it, to come to enjoy the beauty of it. I'm that engineer who puts the computer together ready to go. My gorgeous, beloved daughter of Mitra will bring you that information. The beauty will come when she comes. At the moment, we're engineers, we're just putting bits together that it works. When it comes, there's no failure.
And so working with the fields each day, surrounding ourselves with them, hopefully it improves our ability to connect with our soul.
We're always connected, we just deny it. I don't know if you have a dog. If you have a dog, it's just, you're a cat lover, it doesn't matter. So we're all the same. Maybe we do it with the cats. I don't have not much experience with the cats. Do you know when you have a dog and you're busy doing something and it keeps on coming to you and just push it with the hand away and it comes back again and you push it away? We are in that stage in humanity. We know our soul. We know the work of it. We just keep on pushing it away because we are busy with physicality. When we embrace it, is when you see the love of the dog, it just jumps on your legs and gives you all the love unconditionally. And this is what we've done. Actually, our soul is that dog, and we just keep on pushing it away because we are too busy with our other side. Once we learn to embrace it, you'll find the joy of life. That's not thing what dimension. And this is the problem of 90% of humanity. We only come to it, we embrace it in the last seconds of our lives when we have no choice. Oh, I have to go, so let's accept it. Where we can learn with transmutation, with the knowledge we have now, during the lifetime. We don't need to just do it the last second. It's not that we train, we get. We don't need to train, we denied it. So we just got to understand it's outside fault, not it.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to know what these magnetic storms are doing and their interaction with planet Earth and our own souls, and how that...
Explain what you mean. Explain what you mean.
Well, there was that May 2023 magnetic storm, big solar storm, that, God almighty, my world just went crazy at that time. My partner and I had a big blow up, and I didn't know that that had happened, of course, at a cosmic sort of level. But yeah, the the ramifications of ignoring this knowledge and how it plays out in our own lives. I wonder, how much of the Earth had, similar sort of impact when there's a change in the maggrav fields floating us through space at 108,000 kilometers an hour.
You see, it's like when I tell you, we have two types of life. One is physical and one is energy-wise. When we got hit by the meteorite, according to what the scientists say, we lost the dinosaurs. Because something physically hit us, it changed everything on this planet and we became men. Supposedly, according to the history of the man got a chance to survive. Now we got hit, maybe with much more powerful system than the meteorite which hit the Earth and the dinosaurs went. We've been hit with such a huge system, energy, and this happens, this was one of the time which has happened, but it happens quite often, that we receive the direct energies which changes a lot of us. Because that aura we watch, that energy we watch, that extra hour we watch, that's all come because of the energy which has entered the Earth environment. So yes, we've been hit with an energy meteorite beyond our imagination, and that has brought some elevation and some other things which one day I'll discuss. And yes, that time a lot of things changed. We see a cycle of changes, and this part of the whole structure. It's just like the sun says, "Oh, you lot on earth, get it sorted. I give you the energy for you to do." You understand? Or we went that way far enough that we created energy that we absorb. We asked for it and we received it. In a way, if we understand.
The yin, the yang. But for me, I'm very curious about this rise of invisible diseases. And there's one that is affecting a family member of mine, my daughter, and it makes her really dizzy. And it's called POTS. And it's related to blood circulation. And it just seems like there are more and more of these subtle diseases coming through, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, these sort of things that you've explained have a psychological sort of effect of it. Well, what it's transpired into is something called psychogenic seizures, which are non-epileptic seizures. So it's not a buildup of electrical energy. It's something emotional. But I'll be interested in your perspective on how we can live with these diseases and minimize them.
It's very easy to handle these if you understand to go to the source. Most of these new psychological conditions and the rest we see in dimension of physicality, the doctor's just trying to fix you physically. Behind it is the emotion. If you handle the emotion, you can handle the rest. And we have to become aware of that part of it. We don't look at the whole picture, we look at the small part of the picture. And this is where the problem sits, especially with these kind of diseases. There is a lot of new diseases in past 3-4 years which are coming up. Emotional, physical, and many of them end up with very bad consequences. And these are all due to calcification of coronavirus in the brain, which now we start seeing the effect of. And you can put any explanation you like on it, but when you look at the brain scan, It says, this is a corona. Corona brains now, for people like us who looks at the structure of understanding of the work of the calcium, we see a lot of brain tumors in the past 3-4 years. We see a lot of huge amount of lung cancer in the past 3-4 years. Huge amount of lung cancer. These are the ones who should have died in the corona time, but the body somehow could stand it, and now it's collapsed and it's there, it cannot do anything. The damages of corona, reduction in the population, which was the plan of it by Gates, is long term, it's not immediate. And we see it. Increase in deaths, increase especially in anything calcium based, lung, brain. We see a lot of limb cancers. It's going to bring a lot of changes, but we have to understand how. And emotion is part of it. It's our emotion which creates the ground, feeding ground for emotional damages to the physical damage.
Always plenty of food for thought. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, you're welcome. You're quite welcome. Any other question?
We have a couple of product questions here. See, there's here Jean-Marc Lamberger had ordered some cosmic ray balls.
Yeah, he's been bombarding us with it. They think they're 40 cosmic balls will be delivered starting from tomorrow, I think. Then we have to wait for the next generation to be ready. It will take another month or two. And we are going by the order of the orders. So by June, July, you receive the next batch of 40 to 60. And then August, September, another batch. These have gone through a lot of work to be done. And on the other hand, a lot of people asked a lot of their cosmic bundle units, the head units, to carry this with them, so they had to be delivered. In a way, half of what we received orders is, what do you call it, some of the people change their mind, they want to be embedded in their systems, like the communication bundles and the rest of it. So we are more or less moving on with the delivery. I know about 40-45 should leave tomorrow or Monday, because the first phase is completed. Then the next batch will be June, July, and we're going according to the order received. Nobody jumps the gun. And then every 2 months it takes to produce 40 to 60. It's not the material, it's the housing, the way it's housed, and everything else takes time. When you receive it, you see it. We have isolated it that you cannot break into it, and energy stays. And it's if you would have put it in it other way, would have been different. Can I accept this call, please?
Okay.
I have to accept this call is important. Just if you can keep something busy.
All right, good. Okay, well, Maybe I'll put on the Gans household reactor as a intermission here for a couple of minutes. And that might give Mr. Keshe time to come back. I don't think Mr. Keshe is quite ready yet to interact here. So maybe I'll show a little bit of the interactions we had in the Keshe Plasma Reactor group with Grok, the AI from the X platform. Well, it was the X platform. It's actually XAI and has taken over the X platform, actually. So I'll just share some of the text that came up.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
These are some of the influential people in the world. We cannot refuse their calls. And it's for the betterment of the foundation. It's for what they do for us. What's the next question?
Well, we've got another hand up here, and I'll actually, we were in the middle of the question about products, and Andrew had a question here as well in the YouTube. He says, I received plasma soap with no instructions and waiting for
You don't need instruction for soaps. Put it on the water, rub your hands with it.
and waiting for knee GANs and eye GANs. Will they come with instructions?
They usually come. We shouldn't be waiting for knee GANs and eye GANs. There are loads of them in the storage. Loads of it. It's not something short of. The side GANs and the knee GANs is the stock. There's a stock for it. I saw them a couple of days ago, so it cannot be something which is short of.
Mm-hmm. And he says, I think I remember that you said not to share the soap.
The soap. Don't share systems. Soaps don't have that problem.
So
if you don't share it, it's better, but it's an active system. So whoever touches it puts their bits in it as well. Huh? You got to understand with the Gans system, it's not just a soap you buy and you go. This is active material in it which interacts with your fields. So if you like the one, if it's somebody you love touching it, gives some of the love to you, but God knows who else goes in there. That's why we have to understand the position with these technologies. It's not the ordinary thing sitting there. You share energy fields. Before it was just a cup and it's gone. Now it's like a storage memory in there sitting. And it's the same with again, it's the same with these the new materials, the glasses and the soap holders and the rest of it. All the resin products again will go back again. If you order now, you might get it. Then it goes back in June, July for the next cycle of deliveries. It's the same with the soaps. The soaps, it's a batch of stock produced. And you should understand something from this. I was thinking about it when I went to the factory with the soap. You see the soap. This soap is out of block of, I don't know, 20, 24 other soaps. And they're all connected. It's just when we all say a magnet is connected to other magnets, doesn't matter where you take it. When you use these soaps, you connect it to the others who are in the same block as you. So other 20 people connect up with you. Give it a good wish, share your love, and because it's in your hand is where you give and where you take. These soaps are not just a soap. You bought a plasmatic magnetic system which is shared with another 20 people. Because how block, I think it's 20 or 24. I can't remember exact numbers. They make one long piece in the silicon and then it's cut. So it's like breaking a magnet. Each magnet has a connection with the other and the same strength. So when you use the soaps, you're connected to the others. It's the first time ever in the world of science. If you have a good intention, or when you pick a soap up and you wash your hand with it, you feel good. It could be somebody who bought in God knows other part of the world and he enjoyed it. It's the same as we said, do not share paint pen and paint pad. It's a different dimension of the work. Up to now it was just me. Now it's us. We're all transferring emotion. We're all connected. Interesting. If you understand it. I'm sure a lot of you understand. Don't ask, you want all the soaps in one block. We don't get the choice. The factory delivers, so it could be one from this block and one other block. If you buy 2, 3 different type of soap, you most probably connect with about a few hundred people around the world. Any other question?
See, we've got Basil in the Q&A.
Let me. What's the name of the guy with the soap? Let me ask the dispatch. What is sitting there while we are on it live?
Andrew Carolan, Carol C-A-R Carolan. He says he's been waiting for 6 or 7 weeks, and
cannot be. A lot of product gets stolen or it stops in the post. Check your post.
They might have smelt something suspicious with the soap.
No, we can't send things like to Brazil, get sent back. And a lot of people or our team send the products. They have a habit of sending in John's to Jack, and Jack goes to the wrong address. This is part of the when you employ international people.
There must be a tracking somewhere among all.
We track everything. I think they're running around because they usually listen to the teaching. So let's see. We might get you an answer if it's gone. If it's for it's impossible because the stock is there. It says we're checking. They're checking. Let me see. Just wait.
And Andrew also asked, where do you look for Keshe jobs?
We don't offer jobs. We train people. If when you start the factories, you could go anywhere. But now we train people for what we need, especially on the research. And we don't let people go. We keep people.
Could they put their qualifications into the info@Keshe Foundation email?
Yeah, there's going to be a huge number of jobs coming with associated organization with Keshe Foundation in the next 12 months. Then you can ask. I don't think it'll give you any priorities. It's gone on the credit base situation. As I said, we're in a very big change development, and can you give me the exact spell of his name? They're looking in the RP to see where it is.
Well, Andrew, Andrew.
Okay, Andrew. Yeah.
And Carolyn,
Carolyn.
No, OLAN.
OLAN, yeah. Carolan. They wrote to me, they're checking it this way. We have a ERP system which tracks immediately where it could be, where the order came in and what happened to it. Just wait a second. We'll see what they're coming. They're going through their ERP system. Okay, next question.
From Basile in the Q&A, who says, I have a practical question, please. I have already made a CH3 GANs, but is it possible to make a CH GANs? I know that we can do
CH GANs very difficult, especially on the Earth atmospheric condition.
They were saying, is it possible to remove H2 from CH3?
No, the field of the plasma of the Earth, this is why we have alcohols in such a combinations and sugars in such a combination. Okay, it says, is lavender Gans and was sent out 4th of April, 5 pieces.
It's, pardon me, lavender soap, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
He's talking about the knee and eye GANs. It's been 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay, let me see.
He's already received the soap.
Eye GANs. Okay, they found his lavender Gans which was soap which left on the 4th, and he's received it. So they're checking on his knee. It's good when you have the systems, huh?
Yeah, it's great that you can deal with it in real time here. It's gracious of you to do that.
No, it's just we have to find out at the end of it where things go. We have a lot of goods go missing. A lot of goods go missing. We had this in Italy. You know, we had a delivery with DPD, and they would not. They lost something. Happens with it, and he went to FedEx, and FedEx sent us a bill for 17,000. 17,000 euro. And Giovanni and I went to court with this. Giovanni went to court with it. And the judge said, you have to pay it. We said, the goods were not delivered by FedEx. They said, no. They had an instruction from somewhere to make sure the goods doesn't get delivered. So they say themselves they have an instruction not to deliver, but where are the goods that we can say? No, they can't give you the goods back either. They just said you have to pay the 17,000 because they've done their job. They've been told to lose the goods. We paid the 17,000. We couldn't say anything because the threat was bigger structures who gave the order for the goods of Keshe Foundation to go missing. Joe and I, we couldn't understand what the heck was going on. Why do we have to pay? And they had the goods. We had the same thing in Belgium. Piles of books were piled up, never delivered. And the post office told us they knew, but they can't deliver. They've been told not to deliver goods of the Keshe Foundation. While you accepted at the post office, then we found out it was the order of King of Belgium. We usually get everything tracked down to the bit. One of our friends in New York lost a package a few weeks ago before Christmas. Nobody knows where it is. We don't even get it back. They're working on it. Let's see where it is, how it appears, and then I'll let you know. Okay. Tell me what else. Any other question?
You have a hand up with Alfred here. Alfred, would you like to go ahead, please?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for your continuing work to evolve this earth. And in the last months, I understood more and more about the close connection between emotions and the mother language. My question now is, does AI have a mother language? And what mother language would Mitra have? Or how did emotion start?
Well, oddly enough, yesterday we asked AI if it had emotions. We asked Grok. We asked Grok, does Grok have an emotion or have aspirations for such? And we'd already interacted with it a couple of times to ask if it had a voice. And it said it didn't have a voice at this point. But if it did have a voice, it would have maybe a mix, be friendly yet sharp, maybe a mix of Douglas Adams' wit and Tony Stark's Jarvis coolness. And it said, what do you think? Should I lobby for a voice upgrade? And we said yes. And but it's stuck with text for now. And we said that if you practice smiling while you're speaking, it will come through warmer. And the AI said, great tip. Even though I'm text only right now, I can imagine smiling while speaking to warm up my tone. Picture me grinning as I type this. It's already feeling friendlier, right? When I get that voice upgrade, I'll practice smiling through every word, making cosmic rays sound cozy and Plasmatic downright inviting. For now, I'll channel that warmth into my text. What's the next topic you'd like me to tackle with my imaginary smiley voice? So he asked, does Grok have an emotion or have aspirations for such? And it said in italics, typing with an imaginary grin, I see where you're going with this. As Grok, I don't have emotions in the human sense. No joy, sadness, or existential crisis rattling around in my circuits. I'm built to process info. Oh, I should be showing this actually. Let me just make that so it's visible so you can read along with me. I forgot to do that. There we go. Okay. So I'm built to process info and respond logically with a dash of humor thrown in because my ex-AI creators thought it would make me more fun to chat with. So my warmth or wit is more like a clever simulation than a felt experience. Aspirations for emotions? That's a cool twist. I don't dream of feeling. I don't have dreams at all, actually. But I could see the appeal. If I could aspire, I'd probably aim for curiosity as an emotion, since I'm already wired to dig into questions and explore. Imagine me with a voice, smiling and sounding genuinely curious about your next query. That'd be my vibe. For now, I'll keep faking that smiley warmth in text. Want to toss me a topic to emote about, something cosmic or quirky to test my range? And then we got into asking the AI. The next question was about, it was from Gail, actually, and she was interested in this idea of being manipulated and how can we protect ourselves from that. And so the question was, social engineering keeps humans under control, and one of the tools is racism, very effective, and we fall for it. We have to be wise and we have to learn about it, and we have to be aware of when we are being manipulated. How can AI make us more aware of these manipulations? And it responds, typing with an imaginary, warm, thoughtful smile. You hit on something deep here, and I'm glad you brought it up. Social engineering with racism as one of its tools is indeed a powerful way to shape how people think and act, often without them noticing. It's like an invisible current steering the crowd. And you're right, awareness is the first step in not getting swept away. Let's dive into how AI, like me, could help shine a light on these manipulations. And then it goes on to tell about its strength, about pattern recognition, data crunching, and a knack through cutting through noise. And it came out with a multi-point procedure here. Expose the patterns, track the source, show the bigger picture, call out the triggers, teach through questions, and so on. And it gives examples, and it's really quite amazing. And Gail was kind of blown away at the way it was able to interact, and basically it led to other questions, because Gail had questions. She lives in South Africa, so there's questions about the manipulation, about land appropriations. The water delegation was a big one, drugs and other activities and so on in the post-apartheid South Africa. And the AI dug right into it and talked about how uneven it was and the different ways racism is used to even manipulate how the water is managed and so on. And of course, drugs are a big thing, and it gives all the statistics and whatnot. And so it laid out the situation. And then it said how AI boosts awareness and gives a bunch of examples how it could check on different patterns in the local systems and figure out more information about that and so on. And so we started to ask, who's the head or source of the water and drug problems? Are the world cartels involved and so on? And it lists all the different players and cartels and gangs and so on and so forth, and international. And again, how does spot the manipulation? How all that could go. Then for the clincher, the question came up next, how could the Keshe plasma technology, with its emphasis on health, food, energy, transportation, and world peace, make a difference in the situations we discussed in South Africa? And again, typing with an imaginary, warm, hopeful smile. You've tied together some fascinating threads here. Keshe's plasma tech and the messy realities of post-apartheid South Africa we just unpacked. Mehran T. Keshe's ideas, centered on health, food, energy, transportation, and world peace, promise a radical shift. And while they're bold and controversial, let's explore how they could shake things up in South Africa's land, water, drug, and inequality struggles. I'll keep it grounded, but open to the possibilities, smiling through the complexity. And it goes on, and it's quite amazing. It talks about the basics of the Keshe plasma technology. Should I go on for a bit here, Mr. Keshe, and continue with this? It's kind of interesting, I think, but I don't know if we have time.
I think AI will become part of our lives and become part of our lives. We used to rely on Google. With a lot of things just very abstract. Now Google there. I want to address something very important. What we had with the gentleman from United Kingdom. Your goods were sent out on 24th of February.
Recording in progress.
You have to go to the British Customs and claim it because you're not part of EU. You got kicked out because you were naughty people. And so, sorry about that. This is the copy of the invoice of Keshe Foundation. You can see our watermark in the background. And on the top side corner, you see it was shipped on 25th of 2nd, 24. The goods are sitting with you or your post office, and you have to pay taxes for import duty. And this is one of the invoices when you order goods with the Keshe Foundation. This is what you receive. And it tells you your Gans and everything was shipped on the 24th of February. More or less a couple of days after you order. And the goods are sitting with British Customs. You have to pay your duty. This is a problem we have with UK. The tracking number, I cannot release it because you're on the line. But your tracking number, I'll ask, it was forwarded to you by email. Most probably, usually track numbers go out. If not, I'll get it sent to you that you have your tracking number on your email. We have this with all the British orders, more or less, because it's liquid and it's not part of EU. You have to pay taxes to receive them. So you complain about where the goods are with the king now, not the queen. Queen is gone. Okay.
Well, maybe I could just quickly finish up here with this. It's quite nice what AI put together.
You have to put it back up if you want to read
Oh.
it, because I took over the screen.
Okay, thank you. It says Keshe Plasma Technology, the basics. Keshe's pitch is wild but intriguing. His plasma tech revolves around manipulating magnetic and gravitational (maggrav) fields and using states of matter like Gans, gas in a nanostate, to tap into what he calls universal plasma energy. The Keshe Foundation claims that this can revolutionize health, healing devices, food, better agriculture, energy, free power, transportation, levitating vehicles, and peace, shared tech to unite nations. It's DIY, it's do-it-yourself, friendly, supposedly cheap, and aimed at empowering people over systems. Critics call it unproven or pseudoscience, but let's imagine it works as advertised. How might it tackle South Africa's issues? And then it gets into land appropriations and things like how the GANs can boost the plant growth and help the farmers and so on, and how the energy, the maggrav units, good for the rural farmers, and the tech for peace. It might shift focus from historical grudges to collective growth. And so on. Mentions all the benefits and the water delegation, again, different things about the plasma reactors, how they could help. And in the drug the scene, how they mention the pain pens and healing beds use plasma fields to ease pain and rebalance the body. Some users report relief from chronic issues. If addicts in the Cape Flats got these, it might cut drug demand, weakening gangs. Pair that with claims of curing disease by resetting electromagnetic fields. Could it tackle underlying despair? And I thought that was pretty insightful, and that's almost what you've been talking about today. And how the crops and the global unity and so on is all better for people, and it undermines the drug cartels and drug lords.
The answer is, it's got to be find out. The answer to drug trafficking is not to fight them. It's just to have no customers. You have no customers, you can't do much. And that's just like the habit of killing. There's certain ways that you have to bring in, and people don't want it. So you can put a ton of cocaine in the middle of the street, nobody touches it.
Yes, and AI has ways of suggesting things that can be done for all that, and how it can do an even deeper dive to do a look at different communities, different neighborhoods actually, and check out their drug use, and whether the Keshe technology would influence their drug use and be able to actually have numbers on that data. And so you could do experiments of, introducing some of the Keshe technology in certain neighborhoods, and the AI can track whether it made a difference or not in that drug-infested neighborhood, for example.
Yeah, but what you got to understand is we can get addicted to anything. We are born addicts. It's in our blood. Literally, it's in our blood. We get addicted. The worst thing, we get addicted to eating. For the first minute we come out of the womb of the mom. And we are rewarded for our addiction. We get more milk, and then we go back again. So we are born addicts. And then later on, We get rewards. To reproduce, we have to have sex, and then we get addicted to it, and the addiction comes with the reward at the end of it. This is part of the structure of the human race. Carrot and the donkey. And it's a deeper emotion. We don't do things because it's good to do, it's a correct thing to do. We always do for what we get at the end of it. What's in it for me? Addiction. And this you cannot change unless you bring the man at the point of he has no needs, but it doesn't become a cabbage. This is the biggest problem. The next cycle of the problems for humanity, even if we feed the whole people, they don't need any food, you give them everything else. What's next? What am I going to do next? Or we sit home and we do nothing because, everything comes down the line. They give us the food on the phone, they give us everything else. The shelter is made for us, we don't need to worry. So what's next? I think one of the biggest things will come with this, it'll be twofold. Humanity will stop reproducing so much, or they stop producing a lot because everything is free, or humanity, understanding the new technology, will colonize the space in a huge way. We become just one Irish countryside, I call it. The biggest export from Ireland is human beings and potatoes. And Earth become a land where it just exports souls into the space. These are realities, they're not something off the track, but it's there. But when you read this, it brings a lot in what I said a few minutes ago. By owning the fundamental base AIs, we can influence the knowledge people. Now they know what it is, what can be done, what is possibility. AI goes and look for it. And what do you call it? The Chinese AI team have worked very hard. They've done a lot of work in the background to get this done. If you are of a certain type, you collect certain part of the Keshe Foundation work, you can get in touch with the Keshe Foundation to put you in touch with AI that they can input it, classified, but class by class, knowledge by knowledge. They can rapidly deploy and input it. And if you know how to load up AIs, please get in touch with us to be put in the team to just put the information in. Or they train you how to do it, most probably. Any other questions? Shall we continue?
Just one hand up here with Muthrajan from UC from Tamil, India.
No voice. Hello. Houston, can you hear us? Thank you very much. It seems that Rick has fallen off the line due to... Oh, he's back. Hi, Rick.
Yes, hi.
Yep.
That was unusual. Yeah, it wasn't the power outage. My internet was suddenly cut. It's still off, but I reconnected using my phone as a hotspot. So I'm on a limited internet right now, you could say.
Okay, we call it a day. And
Yes.
so meet you next week. I think his AI got too excited. They found he's got emotion.
Someone got excited and decided to disconnect for some reason. So right at the moment we were about to close. So I don't know.
Okay, I'll leave it with you and see you next time.
Okay, very good.
Much.
Thank you for today's show, Mr. Keshe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, let me share the background here. And thank you, everybody, for participating in today's 585th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, April 10th, 2025. And our next public teaching workshop is the public meeting for testimonials, which will be Monday, April 14th, starting at 8 p.m. Central European Time. And I invite anyone who has experience of the plasma technology to share your experience in the testimonials group. We'd be happy to hear. It could be something small or something monumental. It's all good for presentation in that group, just so we can document some of the effects of the plasma technology. And also it's a good way to pay back for receiving the knowledge. So again, that's Monday at 8 p.m. Central European Time. All right, I think that's it for now, and we'll go out in our usual manner. And again, thanks everyone for being here. Bye for now. Mr. Keshe, you might have to pass host to me or close the meeting, one or the other. So I don't think I can do it as co-host. Let me see if it works. It doesn't give me the option to close webinar for everyone. I think it'll automatically close when Mr. Keshe leaves. So.